removing both of the AoE displacement champions here in the Gragas and the Janna. We've seen them paired up so many times, but now we're going to have so many options for massive hard engage. And Azir, the last remaining sort of full disengage option.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, Atlas. That was the other thing that I was just about to touch on. So the big kind of picks left are going to be Victor and Azir, but the thing is because Snake, who is a massive team fighting team, they love to 5v5, they ban Gragas, they ban Janna, the Cask and the Monsoon, get rid of that displacement like you said. Azir is kind of the last standing champion to reset a fight with his Emperor's Divide. So prioritizing Azir over Victor, I guarantee that Xiaohu is going to be no, he could take Jace. He's either going to play Jace or he's going to play Victor.
Well, he does have a few options here. Of course, Xiaohu has played Lucian in the mid lane, so anything is possible here. Is MLXG actually considering the Kog'Maw? Makes a bit of sense, wanting to hyper scale, and it looks like Braum is going to be an option here as well. Probably not a lot of opportunity for an Ezreal to come through. Martin doesn't like to play it, and of course Azir already on the board, but Braum still just finding his way in after that Winter's Bite buff.
The nice thing about Braum is he's going to also kind of fill that niche as a disengage. It's not going to be a hard reset, but obviously if someone's running at you, he kind of has the flexibility of disengage as well as hard engage with his fissure and his Q.
Well, Snake's opportunity now, as it looks like the bottom lane of RNG has been secured. Could also be Xiaohu playing that Kog'Maw in the mid lane if he wants to, but not going to make that assessment just yet. And Xiziar, actually going to just lock in the Nunu. No chances taken, and we've got the sort of double Blood Boil comp with the fact that Azir more than happy to grab some extra attack speed, and Tristana as well for Martin.
Again, empowering those Sand Soldiers. So right now, this is still a very strong 5v5. You have a hyperscaling AD carry in the form of Tristana. Not to the same extent that Kog'Maw is going to be offering, but obviously, like you said, Nuna's going to be able to augment her attack speed with the Blood Boil. But more importantly, this is a siege composition, which is what I like about Snake and how flexible they're being with their comps. You still have that same 5v5, so they'll be able to run it in team fights, but it gives them so much more versatility that when they approach a tower, they're going to be able to just shred right through it.
Yeah, and it's the stock standard poke comp as well, as they do hover the Maokai for Let Me, potentially. Of course, Let Me loves to play the Shens. The big tanky guys are on the top side of the map, more than comfortable on this Maokai if they do lock it in.
I think that means it's going to be a fizz for Flandre because he loves that matchup.
Could certainly be, and of course RNG now with a completely different idea heading onto the Rift than Snake as we move into this game. Of course, Snake really wanted to get these team fights happening, consistent damage being the aim of the game, whereas the poke, RNG wanting to stop anything from coming at them. And now it looks like the Janna and Gragas bans even more intelligent from this Snake lineup as Fizz, as you said, being the hover.
The other thing why I knew, or at least I assume it's going to be Fizz, we'll see if he locks that one in, is because you're already offering a lot of disengage and protection to your AD carry. So Flandre acting as a secondary carry here, since U is, again, about creating zone, about creating space. He's also very well empowered with the Azir. Flandre as the secondary carry needs to be on someone super self-sufficient, so they don't have to worry about Flandre. Just send him in on Fizz. He's got Playful Trickster, he's got his Q, he could dance around there. We need to focus just on protecting Martin. So it made sense to me that A, I already knew that he liked the Maokai matchup because it pretty much gives Fizz a free lane, but B, he was going to play someone self-sufficient anyway.
And I really like this comp coming out from Snake. They noticed the fact that there is going to be a lot of poke from RNG, so let's just put Tibbers in there. Of course, Annie able to throw down that bear, grab the AoE stun, and really get these fights started when Snake want them. RNG now to find their last pickup, and where do they need to take it? I believe MLXG.
It's the jungle, yeah.
Yeah.
Do it, MLXG.
Well, Elise actually very strong on the 5.13 patch. Haven't seen her sort of rocket back into competitive play just yet, but still very much like it.
Which is really weird because there's a lot of Elise legacy players in the LPL. Yeah. She used to be a very popular, like, obviously.
She used to be basically the jungler.
Exactly. You think all the way back to, what was it, Season 3 with Lucky, Royal Club's jungler?
Yeah.
Finding those crazy Lucky smites and steals with his Elise Repel.
Well, you can also, like, the Venom Spite, fantastic for securing neutral objectives like that with the percent damage. So MLXG going to lock that one in, and look, Elise was always a brilliant champion in these sort of siege poke comps because the fact that she can go into a ranged form, you can stand next to a tower and auto-attack it down without having to be in the face of it, and the repel, brilliant for getting those dives happening.
Yeah, I'm really curious. There is a lot of dive potential between Xiaohu and MLXG, and typically the issue with taking Ezreal into the mid lane is you sacrifice all of your kill potential in that lane, not only because you're losing the summoner spell, but obviously the early itemization rotation from Ezreal. If he gets behind, he's going to go into the Trailblazer. If he's slightly ahead, he can go for a Sheen and offer some poke damage.
Yeah.
But just think about this. If Yu is ever low underneath his tower, the dive threat of Elise being able to juggle tower aggro with her repel on an Ezreal ultimate that just sweeps by, it's very classic to the Rek'Sai Xerath combo that people used to run when someone was low on that mid-tier tower and just Q snipe into Unburrow, or Prey Seeker into Unburrow snipe.
Well, of course, MLXG and Xiaohu were definitely players of both of those champions. I mean, Xiaohu was known for playing Xerath, so all of these old strategies that they used to employ, very, very relevant as we head into this game. You can see we are going to go through the lineups here. Flandre taking the Fizz into the Maokai, ZZR on the Nunu. He's going to face off against MLXG's Elise, and we'll see how it goes as it enters the Rift. One of the first times here in the LPL is you on the Azir up against the Ezreal from Xiaohu and Martin taking the Tristana into the Kog'Maw. A lot of hyperscaling availability here, but it is an old Tristana.
And last but not least, joining them in the bot lane, it will be Ella taking Annie versus Lei on that Braum.
Yeah, and of course Lei known for disengage, Ella known for disengage. Both of them maybe stepping out of their comfort zone just a little bit. Of course, Braum known for it a little bit more, but Annie, she's going forward all the time. But we are going to waste none of it as we hop straight onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for Snake versus RNG. Game 1 of our third series of the evening. First game of week 10 of the LPL for Split 2.
You're not going to say all of them?
No, I didn't. First game of the third
Week 10,
match,
game 2.
Week 10.
Wait.
Game 11, 6,582 minions have died
900
thus far in the last 2 years.
10.
Okay, that is completely incorrect, that stat, by the way, everyone. But we are going to have a 5-point defense system, so what we say, not entirely all that relevant at the moment.
Should be noted, though, and what's fairly important is the fact that Martin was just spotted out in his lane swap by a nicely placed sapling from Let Me. Now he steps forward onto this ward to show his back, so now here comes the mind games. Yep, he's just going to walk all the way back. so he just mind gamed them. He showed on vision, knowing that that was warded because he saw Maokai place the trinket. That's why he stepped forward into that brush to do that, and now he's just going to walk back top.
And RNG also saw him see that he saw the ward.
Oh, so is it a double mind game?
So many mind games.
They're like, he could just be faking us. It's a trap.
Well, Ella is going to walk through the forest here. Definitely thematically correct here on Little Red Riding Annie.
I thought it was the Valentine Annie.
Well, look, she has the opportunity to be on Little Red Riding. Don't remove this from me. I need this moment.
I'm fairly certain it's the Valentine's Annie.
Yeah, I think it was too. Unfortunate. Totemic Maokai, though, is going to be starting off at the Raptor camp. Xiaohu probably wanting to pick up a couple of those by the looks of things.
That skin is very popular in Australia.
Is it really? Oh, for what reason?
I don't know. I'm not Australian.
Well,
let's talk about
Elise. I can
Elise.
tell you. Yeah, well, Elise is going to be starting off the red buff here as Flandre is going to take away the Krugs. And yeah, how does her first clear go these days, Fosker?
It's much stronger. The changes to Elise is... In short, you just have to think that she's going to be much healthier, much tankier in the jungle. Likewise, we'll see where he'll decide to itemize. I would assume it's going to be that Rune Glaive.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see how much he can start ramping up his damage, because Elise is in, I'm going to call it a very healthy spot right now.
Froskin's way of saying slightly overpowered. But
I said healthy.
Riley's
She's got some meat on her bones.
Yeah, Riley's and Leandre's have been definitely tweaked just a little bit
All
recently.
the penetration items that she makes full use of. Flandre he's sacrificing his own farm here because he's trying to lure Wushin forward into this trap from Ella. That said, Ella on the Valentine Annie skin does not have a stun ready.
Not just yet. RNG actually going for a very early dragon, something that an Elise can definitely do using those spiderlings for a little bit of extra power in this level 2 form. Already down to half health. It looks like they are going to be able to take it.
Look at this patience. He's lost probably a full wave of creeps just from this trickery.
Wow,
Don't do it, Whoosh. I will remember you.
Wow, Flandre. Well, now he's going to try and close it, but
just exits to the top side.
Wanders through. I believe he was just trying to secure some experience there, I guess, knowing that Whoosh would be able to push him out.
It was
not sure.
Not correctly played by Ella. Moving to the bottom side, he should have stayed to the top side of the lane, so Wushin couldn't have just exited towards the top where he has all of that vision behind the Dragon Pit, likewise Lei coming around the corner.
Yeah.
And it would have pinchered him. So again, we talked about, you know, Ella, perhaps the only Korean left on the lineup, maybe some miscommunication issues, but it was really just a posturing in the lane type of issue. That said, Flandre, again, he sacrificed a lot of CS trying to set up for that. It was a good 30-second investment, and he didn't find anything on it.
Nothing going to go either way apart from that dragon falling for RNG very early in this game. Let me going to continue clearing out some farm here on the top side.
Did you ever think you'd see the day where MLXG would prioritize an objective over murdering someone in the lane?
That is such a good point.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
But she did. RNG, though, now back into the laning phase here as Flandre in a pseudo 2v2 situation as the top laner. Ella trying to get some farm here where he can. Martin might be in a little bit of trouble as MLXG going to show his face for the first time in a lane here on the top side of the map.
The beauty about ganking a Maokai lane, Let Me has to use Twisted Advance, and it'll guarantee a free cocoon.
Whoa. Well, both of them went out at the same time. Fortunately, there's a lot of damage availability. But Martin is going to be safe. Repel going to be used just to get MLXG out of the way. And I believe that explosive shot would have connected anyway.
Yeah, he just wanted to make sure that he spread the damage along the creep wave as well as Let Me. Just, you know, as a...
Yeah.
I love you, man. No, but the big issue of that gank naturally was the fact that Martin was able to get the rocket jump off in time so that the cocoon didn't connect. So again, you have to make sure that the Twisted Advance connects first, locks him down, and then any sort of skill shot champion, Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, Elise, it's pretty much a guaranteed free CC hit after.
Well, yeah, MLXG not quite...
Patient.
Yeah, patient enough just yet. But
that's the guy we know.
Patience isn't exactly MLXG's MO, is it?
Oh, is this the famed Nunu gank?
Oh, Flash Snowball is available.
The cacao.
It's beautiful. I like to call it the Cacleo.
I've seen Cacao flash Snowball more times. He does the ult.
Well, no,
if he flash R's...
the Cacleo.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Because, you know, both of them do it, and it's really cute. But it's not going to be ZZR. That's not what he's going to start for himself here on this Nunu. Just heads back to base, picks up that Trailblazer, grabs himself a Ruby Crystal, and is going to spread wards throughout the area. Xiaohu and Yu just facing off here in the mid. 4 CS is the lead for the Ezreal at the moment, but we'll see how he ramps into the mid to late game on this Ezreal.
And we can kind of take stock of, you know, what's happened so far in the early game as we approach the 6 minute 30 second mark. Typically, Snake is actually very good at playing the first 10 minutes. Usually on the back of Flandre, he's very comfortable in a 1v1 or a lane swap. But again, just, you know, making those slight errors, committing so much to try to lure Wushin into danger, not finding that gank, losing the initial dragon to RNG, one of the teams with the worst dragon control in the LPL, is very unlike Snake, especially when you have a Nunu as your jungler. So for once, and kind of uncharacteristically, Snake showing some weaknesses in this initial lane swap.
Well, Martin is grabbing some levels here on the top side of the map as well. Tristana probably scaling the best with levels out of a lot of AD carries. Of course, Corki would probably give her a run for their money, but the fact that the draw beat passive is slowly giving her more and more range
Round 2
is very important as MLXG. Exactly right.
Okay, Twisted Advance, then Cocoon. He's got it.
Yeah, there's the Flash Twisted Advance as well. Cocoon comes in. Martin takes so much damage.
Oh!
Oh my goodness, the fadeaway jump shot. And RNG are out of there.
Style points while in the animation for the rocket jump. Make sure that he buster shoots them away and they're not able to connect with the last auto or ability. And Martin gets out with his life as well as burns the flash from Let Me.
Yeah, so flash for flash there as well. I believe MLXG may have used his as well. He did. So both, like 3 flashes down. Nothing found here for RNG. True Shot Barrage just sails by.
He's checking for vision on red buff to see when the timer was for that. Likewise, checking to see if Martin was rotating down to the bottom side, so initiating their swap back.
Well, it is going to happen here, as of course Fizz in the top side. Flandre with his teleport available up here as well, so Ella wandering around with a stun.
Get in there.
Trying to get back into the lane.
There's no reason to step up and take unnecessary damage, which is why Ella's just going to wait in the corner. They saw that the creep wave was moving forward. They weren't sacrificing any CS for it, so again, no reason to step forward. Just wait.
Well, that did not necessarily work out so well for Snake there as Martin takes the full combo from Whoosh. That is, of course, the Void Ooze and the ultimate is Living Artillery, as well as the sheened up auto attack with that by Arcane Barrage. Xiaohu's going to take himself blue buff, and beyond is merry.
Xiaohu doing a fantastic job in this mid lane right now, like you said, has a slight CS advantage, especially because the wave is pushing into him. Decided to itemize the Sheen first, so not in any sort of peril where he needed to itemize early on the Trailblazer, so still has a lot of damage left on his ability. So see if they're going to be able to contest for this upcoming dragon in 8 seconds.
Of course, double Sheen's being picked up actually gives them a lot of late
burst damage.
Game damage.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we're going to wait, take down this cannon creep, possibly move around and use his trinket to try and scout out for some vision. Spots ZZR there. They are able to clear out the ward. And the Cookie Monster not going to be able to find too much here. Martin just going to clear out the minion wave as only a Tristana can. Not going to be holding any freezes whatsoever, as Snake now aware of the fact that the dragon has respawned. And they're still paying close attention to the bottom side. It looks to me like they're trying to find a pick before going for a potential dragon.
The also big thing is the fact that Ella is level 6, so this is the lane with the most kill presence in it.
Ooh, Winter's Bite not going to find the mark here as ZZR's looking for a gank on the bottom side. MLXG, though, he's got other thoughts being on the top side of the map. ZZR just wanting to stop any freezes from happening, just makes his presence known, says, guys, we're leaving. We're done here.
I'm actually surprising that they're choosing to all back at this moment, especially because they don't know where MLXG... he just walked through ward. Now they know. So now they're fine to make this call.
Well, MLXG going to be able to take down this Rift Scuttle. Little Spiderling's going to finish the job for him here. As it looks like it is going to be the tank Elise build at the beginning of it.
Yeah, going for the Cinderhulk.
Well, Yu just decides that he's not going to take any damage from Xiaohu here, as the Arcane Shift damage didn't come down. Mystic Shot was missed as well, so he's going to be okay after Xiaohu tried to go a bit aggressively. Not going to find too much there at all, but yeah. So MLXG seeing what he can do with the Cinderhulk.
I'm curious where the rest of his itemization is going to go. If he's going to go maybe a more traditional Elise build with the Sight Stone, or if he's going to really look for that penetration. I assume that with the Cinderhulk, he's probably going to go Sight Stone and then into Haunting Guise. Possibly look for CDR boots was kind of the big common thing for Elise, just because you want more rotations on your Cocoon.
Yep.
Or if maybe he'll look for... I don't think he should look for Sorcerer's Smith. I think it's much more cost efficient to look for CDR boots.
Well, it's actually really interesting because, of course, if we have a look back to, how players used to build Elise sort of very early on, it was the Ancient Golem that was picked up.
There's the Ruby Crystal.
Looks like Sightstone.
Committing to that.
Well, actually, it could be a whole lot of things, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So
it could
really
technically
knows?
go into the penetration.
Yeah, it could. Well, Runeglaive completed here by Xiaohu.
Here we go. Runeglaive Ezreal.
Yeah.
My body is ready. The nice thing about the Ezreal versus Azir matchup is typically whenever you take a poke champion, Ezreal, obviously one of the few champions, and it's the same thing with AP Kog'Maw, that can outrange Azir and not be punished as much by the oppressive reach of his Sand Soldiers by just sitting back and, like he did right there, connecting with these Mystic Shots, tagging Azir in between the waves, and likewise the Runeglaive really empowering his pushing potential so he doesn't just get shoved in underneath tower.
You can see already forcing you to head back to base, finishes off that Morellonomicon, now has a Null Magic Mantle as well, so going to be able to deal with the magic damage coming through from both the mid laner and the jungler if he's ever ganked there as well. In fact, the entire top side of the map and a majority of Whoosh's damage. So Magic Resist is going to be the aim of the game for this Snake lineup, at least for the early to mid game.
And this is classic RNG, so they've had the Dragon Timer for a good 2 minutes now and just committing to the dive. Here we go.
Well, Flandre's going to have to work on his risky business here, but he just explodes. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, again, the twisted advance into a very easy Cocoon. And unfortunately for ZZR's placement. They're in no position to trade the Dragon objective for the fact that RNG just committed so many resources top. They do manage to secure the mid-tier tower, which that's just what Azir is great at, is pushing down towers. But
that was actually a 2-turret swing.
Did they also take bottom?
No, Sun turret was put up, so they gained one at the same time. Not too bad.
I was going to say, because Martin, if you leave Tristana, you know, unpoliced.
Yeah. She's going to take shots. You're going to have a bet. Well, Snake are going to start off the Dragon here. They have a lot of wards around the area.
So again, we talked about MLXG, how it was so curious that he was, you know, prioritizing the early Dragon, able to get that one away from Snake, especially when they had a Nunu. But this is much more classic to MLXG, prioritizing the gank on Flandre top versus the objective control.
Well, Flandre does have his Cinderholt now completed, as well as the Lucidity boots, so a fair bit of cooldown reduction as well. We'll see whether he grabs a Frozen Heart relatively quickly, complete that 40% as soon as possible, or whether he goes for something else like that Trinity Force on the top side of the map. We'll keep you posted as far as that is concerned.
You know it's going to be a Trinity.
Yeah, that's Flandre, isn't it? He builds Trinity Force on LeBlanc.
Builds Trinity Force on Fizz.
Yeah.
LeBlanc's a little bit more impressive, though.
Yeah, it's a little strange anyway. I don't know whether it's necessarily impressive. They
I
did
was
win
impressed.
that game, though. So, yeah. Certainly is. Let me still just clearing things out here on the top side of the map. Now with a bit of CS advantage as Flandre has fallen down. Decent gank earlier by RNG. Trinity Force now completed by Woosh, though.
So, exactly, I'm glad that you touched on that powers point for Kog'Maw. So, RNG right now, obviously you don't have the Dragon objective to contest. So, where do they go from here? They are in a bit of a power spike because Wushin has his Trinity, but it's really about evening out these towers. I'm curious if they're going to try to consolidate.
Oh dear, ZZR not going to get hit by that Cocoon, and Xiaohu's going to try and make his way in. I have a feeling that if the Cocoon had worked, then things could have been a little bit better. Flash out from Ella, though, as Snake do find a large amount of the RNG members here in the river.
He just pulled a Mushu.
How so?
He was 3 feet in front of him. Oh, come on.
No, don't worry. I love Milan, but I was just trying to work out which quote you were talking about. Most of it's gold. My goodness, that Living Artillery doing some work on a Martin here. Has to deal with the Trinity Force procs now.
Martin eating a lot of Void Oozes, however.
Yes, he is. He's wandering straight into them. Seems like Woosh able to get that combo down every single time.
That's not a targetable ability.
No. In fact, there's not many of Kog'Maw's abilities that are targeted.
So the fact that we're, yeah, there we go, another one, up 2.
Yeah, Living Artillery comes down. In fact, Lei taking a lot of damage on the opposite end. Blade the Rune King's completed by Martin, so he does have a fair bit of life steal. Can get himself back up to a relevant position. Doesn't have any potions, though, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Oh my goodness, every single time, and the Trinity Force was enough.
Okay, that was just big misstep from Martin. He's just eating these skill shots repeatedly. Wushin obviously doing a fantastic job hitting him, but meanwhile, top line.
Yeah, Urgent Strike is going to try and get Flandre to safety. Sapling!
He's got
is
the
it going to get that? No, not going to happen. So Flandre survives with nothing at all.
Should have just chased him and waited for, oh, yeah, that could have been scary. Waited for your Twisted Advance. That said, with Martin dead, it means that you do have a big numbers discrepancy on the bottom side of the map. They don't have the wave clear, so it will mean the first tower for RNG.
Yeah, they're going to take the bottom outer down. Of course, RNG now with about a 2,000 gold lead. So things looking great. MLXG continuing on a very tanky path, opting for that Spectre's Cowl. It seems like tank Elise is going to be the option.
Well, he is facing down from a ton of magic damage on the side of Snake. You've got magic damage in Fizz, Nunu, Azir, and Annie.
Yeah. Tristana as well, proxy shot, I believe.
She's got some scaling.
Magic damage. Rocket jump. Not too bad. Lei here on the top side of the map, though, you can see RNG. They want to shut Flandre down. They do have to play around with the playful Trickster here as Urchin Strike's going to get him out. Of course, Fish goes down onto Woosh. There's the Winter's Bite. Are they going to get it the stun? They do, as RNG, just with so much damage, has there been enough time as Snake, he just turn around the corner. Looks like Ella might actually be taken down potentially. Not going to happen just yet. True Shot Barrage narrowly avoided there by Ella, who had the Molten Shield for a little bit of extra survivability, but everyone from Snake needed to defend this turret.
Lei really waffled his angle on that Braum ultimate right there. If you just run it straight down the line, they probably could have secured at least another kill right there. That said, great collapse from RNG. And we kind of, you know, asked, with Dragon not up, with their power spike available, they have to look around the map and look for these team fights, particularly with Wushin on that power spike. So good that they're finding it. That said, they are sacrificing a lot of their map in return.
Well, Ella actually looking to try and get a stun onto someone. Not going to find anything there as Flash was still on a cooldown. Flandre with some playful trickstering around to try and clear out this minion wave. And Trinity Force is going to be the next option here. Almost has that fade done as Lei just wandering around the enemy jungle.
A lot of control for RNG. They've done a fantastic job rotating Wushin around, taking these free towers, and have completely evened this up.
Yeah, 2 turrets each. As top out are still remaining here for Snake to deal with, as well as the mid lane for RNG. True Shot Barrage not going to find you, but is going to deal with the minion wave.
Dragon will be spawning in 42 seconds. That's going to be the next big point of contention. RNG, you know, covered a lot of ground in the last 6 minutes, putting themselves in a gold advantage, 27k to 30k right now. See if they're able to run away with this one, or if Snake will really pay off in that big 5v5 setting. They do have the tools to fight for this. Abyssal Morello's completed on you. Likewise, the Blade of the Rune King's been up and online for a while here for Martin.
He's going to be able to take himself a red buff here as well. And you were talking about the fact that RNG have really managed to get things going. They've managed to get things watered as well. There's so much vision for this side, especially throughout the top side jungle of Snake.
The issue, however, is like you said,
relevant vision?
Yeah, relevant vision. The top side, which makes sense because they placed all of that vision when they were playing to the top side for that tower. So now it's about getting themselves back onto position on top of the pit and laying down their wards there.
Well, you can see Lei looking for someone. Ella's well and truly in safety at the moment. I was seeing that little Annie wandering through the jungle there. Things could have been a little bit dangerous, but he's going to find his way back in. There's ZZR with the ultimate. 3-man Tibbers as well as RNG get locked up. MLXG finds his way back in. Emperor's Divide's here as Yub relatively safe at the moment, but Flandre's going very low. He's going to die. MLXG locks down the kill. ZZR not long for this world as you trying to get his way out. And RNG, they're closing the gaps. But that's a 2 for nothing, and I think they can turn around for the Dragon.
Martin wasn't even in that fight. That was a 4v5. Tristana was stuck on the back of the pit, so what was a fantastic counter flank from Ella had 0 follow-up in terms of sustained damage, and that's going to be the free Dragon for RNG.
So RNG with Dragon number 2 now as well to augment that first very early one that they picked up. You can see Xiao, who almost completed that Rabbidan's death cap, and he's going to be very strong at that stage as well.
It's already very strong.
And we know that Mickey Ezreal's pretty tough.
Look at Martin's positioning right here and how far back he is. We have a lot of wombo combo going on the screen. Martin hasn't thrown a single auto attack, whereas RNG have been able to consolidate their resources, so they're fighting a front-to-back composition. Lucian just free hitting into the back line as they just chase out all of the stragglers from Snake. And again, Martin, full health with red buff, hasn't thrown a single auto attack that entire fight.
Yeah, there wasn't anything he could do, and as well, Whoosh, he was in the backline for RNG getting so much damage down, and his Cogmore has actually been very, very impressive this game.
Wushin, very strong AD carry. I always thought very highly of him. Again, I think you can't really talk about Wushin without also talking about Lei, because as a duo, I just think that they're very fun to watch.
Yeah, they're fun to watch because their synergy is so strong. Of course, was always the case when they were playing Big King as well. Xiaohu giving the Maokai a little bit of attack speed. Of course, the largest base attack speed for a melee champion in the game.
Fun facts with Atlas.
Yeah. I think that actually means that he has the highest base attack damage, just in general, because ranged champions don't have as high. But that's, look, beside the point. It is going to be Flandre completing that Glacial Shroud, though. 25% short-down reduction from items. My mathematics in my brain not so strong.
I was curious where we were going with that.
Yeah.
It was just like a journey. Look at that damage.
So much. Essence Flux landing as well there from Xiaohu.
And he doesn't even have any kills. That's an 0-0-3 Ezreal. 2 items completed, just effectively half health to you.
Big items, though. Well, in fact, he already had some magic resist, so that's even more impressive here. Arcane Shift is going to get Jahu back over the wall, and Martin going to try and clear this one out. What does Snake do now? Do they have to try and force anything, or do they want to sit back and farm?
They need to sit back and farm. So again, we talked about, you know, relevant power spikes. The fact that Flandre is sitting on, you know, a couple of ingredients, really doesn't have any sort of resistances built up from, now has a piece of the Glacial Shroud.
Yeah.
On the other side, Tristana in a massive power drop, but this is pretty indicative of Tristana in general. Just her mid-game has been fairly weak. She does have a nice steroid to attempt to compensate for that, but just how far behind she is comparatively to Wushin and his Kog'Maw, who now has 2 completed items, the Trinity Force, the most expensive item in the game.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
The Blade of the Ruined King. So Wushin is in a very happy home, and it's about trying to catch up with that on Martin. Once they're there, again, this composition has so many tools to empower this Tristana to run away with the game, but she's just not ready yet. You know, half-baked cookies.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have those cookies well done.
I don't like well-done cookies, but baked. How about that?
I was just thinking about the Morgana skin.
Sinful Succulents?
Yeah, the Sinful Succulents, because
it's the only one I run.
Those cookies, very well done. Of course, Pastry Time runs that spin as well. Promise you that.
Every time I'm in a game with Pastry Time, I always make a point to be like, oh my god, are you the real Pastry Time? So please.
And he often is.
Yeah, if you see him in a game, just do that to him for me.
He's on the OGM, by the way.
Really?
LPL is going to get MLXG into this one, as he has to back away, but just a bit of power play by the jungler from RNG is Let Me looking for a flank. See whether RNG can make anything happen here. Is lots of damage from Jiahu. Tanky is the Nunu though, so not going to find too much as far as damage is concerned onto him. And we take the turret.
Snake are free to just give that one up. Again, Flandre wasn't there, pushing out those side waves. And this is something that Snake are actually very good at, is their side wave management. I often liken it to LGD, specifically because in the hands of Flandre, he's very good at side wave, control, protection, things like that. And he's also very good at making up for CS discrepancies. So the thing that we really haven't touched on this game is, for the majority of it, Let Me has been leading Flandre, which started at that very early level 1 over-committal on the attempt to assassinate Wushin. That said, slowly but surely, Flandre has been able to inch his way back into it, which again just kind of speaks to the comfort that Flandre has as a top laner in playing both a lane swap and a traditional lane. He'll always compensate for the CS discrepancies.
Well, Snake hanging around the Baron area. They take the Rift Scuttler as Whoosh makes his presence known on the top side.
Get in there.
There's the playful Trickster down as well. Fish is there. Whoosh is so dead, and I have no idea why he was there.
And you have to know that they're going to be there. It's the last standing outer tower. It's the easiest objective for Snake to secure. They don't turn on the Baron, although that's why MLXG is rushing into that area just to make sure that they don't get any sneaky ideas.
Well, Whoosh, another 20 seconds remaining on his death timer as Lei trying to get some vision down. You can see ZZR noticed the pink ward, but they need to move around this map. Cocoon not going to find him, and Snake milling about for the moment. And if this was old Snake, that would have been Baron attempt right there. It
was really well positioned and postured by MLXG again, you know, recognizing, okay, we're in a threat where they could very easily and very quickly turn on Baron with the Blood Boil between Azir and Tristana. They can shred through that objective. So good job, you know, making sure that Snake saw that he was in the area.
Yeah. Well, RNG now just recuperating after the loss of Whoosh. Snake, after picking up their first kill, probably feeling a little bit better. Kill went over to Ella, which is a little bit unfortunate for them, but otherwise things are fine. Machine completed now for Flandre. He's only about 1,200 gold away from that Trinity Force.
Again, still prioritizing his own damage and assassination potential versus the resistances.
Yeah.
So typically with Cinderhulk Fizz, Flandre Cinderhulk Fizz, it's Frozen Heart, or Cinderhulk 2 Frozen Heart, but Flandre likes to fit in, you know, the most expensive item there. I'm just going to pick this one up. It's on sale, right?
Take a time out to pick up a casual Trinity Force.
15 minutes of farming later.
Yeah. He's got it. But he's definitely a damage threat. We'll see whether that is going to account for anything as we move forward in this game. 5,000 gold to lead for RNG. 3 turrets to 3. So the whole map opened up.
Snake should just burn this. MLXG doing a fantastic job controlling Scuttle Crabs to try to deny as many of these dragons, or at least slow them down as possible. RNG have done a fantastic job in terms of their vision control this game. Just moving their vision pockets around over the contestable objective, securing the Scuttle Crabs opposite side of the map so Snake can't quickly make a turnaround play, but Flandre now going hard on Let Me.
Yeah, looking for it here.
Trying to deny the teleport.
Used.
Yeah.
Teleport not going to be available just yet. Let Me is going to head back to base, make sure that he's healthy as possible for the next potential dragon fight. Flandre going to do exactly the same here. True Shot Barrage goes straight through the dragon. They lock it down. MLXG Smite was true that time. And they get out with their third.
Bursting it down, and the third will grant them that movement speed bonus to help out with their kite, because they really are a kite composition.
Oh yeah.
Which, again, we haven't had a true 5v5. The one big team fight that we had this game was still a 4v5 because Martin wasn't in there, and question still stands, you know, can Snake 5v5 with this comp built for it on a gold discrepancy?
They do have the Locket of the Iron Solari now, as well as the Trinity Force and the Last Whisper. If there was ever a time when Snake had some sort of item power spikes, it would be right about now. As 3 items for both of the main carries in the Azir and the Tristana are now completed. And these are big deal items as well. The fact that that Sonya's Hourglass is going to be there for you. He can start fights off, get himself into stasis, give his team some time to get into position. We'll see whether they can actually execute and get that done.
On the other side, though, speaking of big items, Xiaohu completed the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. So we saw this build come out of Dade, I believe, initially. I like to call it the Blue Ezreal.
6th item as well.
I actually think he built...
I don't quite remember.
Hold on.
Repel going to be used. MLXG looking to try and get right in amongst this fight, gets stunned up,
Beautiful.
And that ultimate was amazing. Again, once more, you able to disengage this fight out as now Snake getting poked down. MLXG very, very low. Lay as well as into the back line goes Let Me. Look at the True Shot Barrage damage as well as the fish comes down. Flandre finishing up the fight. You can see double kill already. Lay getting taken down solo. Martin picks up a kill, gets himself a reset. In goes Flandre, sacrificing himself as Whoosh are just trying to kite around. Can he do it? Double kill already. Whoosh gets stunned and Martin locks down the triple for the ace.
And that's what we were talking about. You know, Snake in a big 5v5. Would they be able to fight from behind? But more importantly, will this ace get them anything? Martin and Ella walking up the mid-tier. Tristana shreds through towers very quickly.
They did have a Tibbers available to tank that one up too, but Ella
just
wasn't
chilling
concentrating
out
on it. No worries there at all. They're pinging out. Looks like the inner turret not going to go down.
So the team fight only shores up some of this gold discrepancy. But here we go. Now this is the thing. Martin is behind. This is how this composition works. In the full 5v5, you've got the disengage in front of him. He's able to just steamroll through people. You talked about the power spike Tristana having the 3 items available. This is a mistake, however. Martin jumping back out. He almost doesn't get back in time to save up this fight, but a very nice rotation of spells from Ella to lock up Wushin. If he hadn't found that stun, Wushin probably could have traded that ace for ace.
Yeah, well that could have actually been a almost, you know, pentakill right there, right into their face. But not going to happen this time around. In fact, it would have been in Quadra. As RNG setting up vision around this Baron area. Oh, MLXG almost didn't see him there as he's able to get the Q over the wall. Flandre, no playful tricks are going to be available.
Oh my god, he's alive.
While he gets out. And that is the cooldown reduction of that Frozen Heart at work here. You're going to get snagged by the Cocoon. There's the Glacial Fissure. Snake taking a lot of damage here. But RNG, not going to find any more.
And again, Snake making the most, fighting in these beautiful choke points. That said, losing a ton of health, RNG deciding that's crazy.
They've started off the
That's
Baron,
crazy.
Actually. Yeah, Xiaohu's at full health. So he has a lot of poke still left in him, can play a little bit further forward. But you've mentioned Snake's side wave control, top wave pushing in favor of them. Bottom wave crashing into the inner turret. And Martin working there on the mid lane. You can see the Baron is still going, I believe. Yeah, down to half health. Wushin's not even there.
They're faking them out by Wushin appearing on the map. They would like, you know, there's no way they're doing the Baron without the Kog'Maw. That's actually really smart.
Yep, Repel going to be used. Make sure that MLXG doesn't die, and they take down the Baron.
Beautifully played. Again, the fact that Wushin appeared top into the vision, that they had complete vision control of the pit itself with multiple pinks that Martin is now clearing out on your screen. Really brilliant.
Yep, well played. Well, he headed back, grabbed himself a blasting wand on top of the rest of the items that he already had. Now waiting in the wings, looking to try and pick somebody off. In he goes, trying to find Whoosh. Empress Divide was used, but he'd well and truly flashed at that stage, and he was just going to die with his head in his hands at that stage. Let Me looking to try and capitalize on this one as 5 members strong of RNG just parade up the mid lane. It looks like they might be able to take a whole lot from this Snake team in a 5v4 situation. 30 seconds still remaining. Let me very tanky with the Frozen Heart. Of course, the rest of the items that he already has in his back pocket. Not taking a lot of damage from this as the inner turret falls down, and they're going to be able to take the inhibitor turret unless Flandre can do some fancy business here in the back line.
He's holding the creep wave away from them, but they're just going to tank this one out. Let Me is so massive, as is Lei.
Yeah, they got so much damage as well, so that tower did not last very long whatsoever. Flandre, they're looking for him now as they take the inhibitor down, but lost inhibitor easily worth it here as they grab the Baron, grab the inhibitor, get a free pick onto you, making a very weird decision in the mid lane. Capitalization from RNG.
Yu died so quickly, he didn't have time to use his Zanya's Hourglass. Naturally looking for the Azir seg onto Wushin is immediately punished by a nicely placed cocoon from MLXG.
And immediately, nothing that he could do. Void Staff now completed for Jahu as well. As far as a pretty looking set of items, couldn't ask for too much more. A couple of sticks, a weird axe, some boots, and a hat. Everything's going well. Also has a dress. Not sure what a Elemental actually is, but it looks like a dress to
It's
me.
Ezreal.
Yeah.
He can get away with that.
He would certainly wear a dress if he wanted to. It'd have to be a space dress with that particular skin, but either or. RNG starting off the Dragon. This will be their fourth, as that's another win condition available for this team, but they're so far ahead. 6,000 gold.
But again, think about it. The last time Snake had a big 5v5, they were able to win. That said, if they continue to have these 5v4s because Flandre gets caught out.
Yep, could be a problem. Snake have managed to push out the mid wave, at least towards the middle. But those super creeps are going to begin to do some work. RNG just starting the siege here on the bottom side of the map and trying to get the poke into this Snake lineup. So far, Snake have been avoiding it. We'll see what RNG can do with the Baron Bug. Yeah. And he can do it from this brush as well. Does have a ward in it though, so of course Snake's still going to be able to see, but you can see Living Artillery is going all the way through. You've got Mystic Shots flying left, right, and center. Everyone on RNG throwing things out, even saplings hanging around, as well as the cocoons and the volatile spiderlings. My goodness, Yu takes more than half of his health there from a couple of spells from Jahu. And RNG, they're probably going to be able to take this. The super creeps have now found their way into the mid lane. And RNG just successfully pressure them out.
Being very patient, playing with the creep waves, like you said, that mid lane coming in, crashing down. Flandre going deep. Maybe not.
Yeah, Playful is going to get himself into untargetability. There's the flash from Ella, but doesn't get the stun, gets it only onto Let Me. They're going to turn this one around. MLXG flashes into the cocoon, but doesn't find it. ZZR uses the ultimate, not going to get it onto too many people as Flandre's going to go down. Low health bars on RNG now as Snake trying to get the work done. Martin gets cocoon. Lots of damage. Emperor's Divide from you was massive. Whoosh is going to die. Let Me as well. Double kill immediately. Martin looking for MLXG. Jumps on top of him. Gets the kill. Xiaohu super low as Yu is going to use the Zonyas. Oh my goodness, how is he still alive? Gets the kill for the triple. Can he find the quadra? Sand Soldiers are there. Quadra kill for Yu. And I think he said something about Snake being pretty good in a team fight.
Oh my god, from a gold discrepancy. You legend. That's a quadra kill. That was incredible. I'm sure we'll see a replay. That said, what does it mean for Snake? What do they get out of it? They get a pause. They get a breath. They don't get to translate that into any sort of objective, but this is why RNG were so cautious when approaching that tower, playing with the mid wave, making sure that they didn't look for the dive. This play. This is absurd. Martin's in perfect position. He will get locked up by a nicely placed cocoon from MLXG throwing from Fog of War here. But just look at Yu's positioning. They effectively split up RNG twice into 3 different sections, and Yu just wrecking them with Sand Soldiers. This cute little play for Martin, again, not the best at his rocket jumps, but to go over the wall, ZZR looking to body block Yu, which is why he moved into that position, trying to cover him when he came out of stasis so he couldn't be picked off by a missed shot. And then just some fancy footwork. That was all Yu.
Yeah, incredible play. Definitely making up for the slightly questionable play from a few minutes prior, but it has given Snake a lot of time without that inhibitor that they have been able to gather control one more time.
I can't get over it. His 2014 EDG performance was known as a Ziggs player. He's always been a control mage about creating zones.
Yeah.
When he first joined Snake, he'd only been with the team 2 weeks, Snake themselves said in their little documentary, you know, Yu brings a lot of experience of shot calling to the team. They're very comfortable playing with him. A direct upgrade to Baka, their former mid laner, plays very similar champions, much larger pool. He's so good at team fighting. His Victor, his Azir, his Orianna, his Ziggs. I wait for the day Ziggs comes back into the meta and Yu reigns above them with his, you know, 30-plus games.
It's my time. But RNG still in the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Snake did manage to win that last team fight, but RNG still with a lot of fight left in them. Xiaohu with only one more item left to complete. It is going to be a needlessly large rod variety. We'll see what he decides to go with.
You bet that they're not going to make that same mistake.
Well, Lemmy actually trying to get in there. Ella's going to get caught out of position. Glacial Fissure comes through as well. Ella already dead. The rest of Snake trying to find their way around. You still very high health. Martin as well. Still looking okay. There's the Emperor's Divide. Doesn't find too much there, but he's going to get singled out and destroyed. Oh my goodness, that True Shot Barrage with the slow on top of it, allowing that living artillery to secure the kill. And RNG, they're going to re-destroy the inhibitor and maybe take the game.
Okay, so the beautiful thing is what I was about to say is they're not going to look for another 5v5. They're going to look for a pick, and that's exactly what Let Me did, using the home guard teleport, made sure that they weren't fighting a 5v5, that it was a 3v5 initially, and just mow through as they pick up another kill and the game.
Well, RNG 1-0 so far in this series as the Nexus explodes. 10,000 gold was the lead in the end of that game.